Outdoors TV series, as well as Daddy Joe and John Freaky. And Todd, people don't realize, you know, a lot of people, they want to go other places to hunt and fish and this and that, and a road trip's good, but they don't really realize how much, you know, wildlife there is to hunt in these parks.
That's exactly right. You know,
You
a lot of people don't realize the resources and the habitat and everything that we have here that people can utilize and hunt, fish, and it's, you know, that's
It's
one
more
of
all
the
the
things.
time, I think. You know, they're more. Yeah, I don't know. I think they've done a good job in managing a lot of this stuff.
They really have. You know, I have to give props to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, they've done an awesome job over the past years, really managing, trying to develop, you know, wildlife habitat and stuff. And we're really starting to see the results of it, you know, with the wildlife that's starting to show up, and you see them just driving down the side of the road.
Absolutely, yeah. So now you got these guys with you. You got Daddy Joe.
Hey,
All right.
I got Joe with me.
All right, Joe, and you got John Freaky.
I got John Freaky.
What in the world is he doing here?
I'm telling you what, Mr. John Freaky is the man behind the scenes. This guy has really stepped in and done an awesome job.
He's a relentless and shameless promoter.
I'm telling you what,
And that's what you gotta have.
He's one of the best promoters that I've met.
He does. He's excited, and he's excited about your new venture, man. You know, and I love the truck. We'll get a picture of that and post it on Facebook. But now you we're talking off mic a little earlier. You know, I guess your idea of the perfect female would be one that would go out there and do all this stuff with you. Have you found her yet?
Oh, it's not. she's around.
Okay, all right. So you don't want to give too many secrets away.
Exactly.
Yeah. But there are good-looking women who'll do this.
Yes.
Yeah, they like to go out there and sit in the woods and
enjoy.
You know. All right. So now we've covered a little bit of elk hunting, okay, and deer. We've covered fishing some, and talked about turkey hunting, duck hunting. People around here love it.
Oh, I'm telling you what, the duck hunting this year was my first experience.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, I have gotten hooked.
Yeah, these Duck Dynasty guys, you know, they've made like multi-billionaires out of their calls and stuff like that in their TV show. But you know, the duck hunting, I don't know, it just seems to be really taking off and blowing up. I don't know if it's not just because of those guys, but I'm sure that's part of it. But people are intrigued by it, you know.
Exactly. You know, it's kind of a new thing. You know, people. Like in these parts, you know, we don't have a lot of ducks, you know, migrating through.
Right.
You have to go out towards western Kentucky, and that's where it's really starting to pick up and get a little bigger. But I wanted to dip into it and try it out, and I'm telling you, it's nothing like it.
Well, now, have you went and filmed outside the state?
Yeah, we've filmed quite a few shows outside the state now.
Where do you go?
We've last fall we went out to Colorado.
Okay.
And we've done a do-it-yourself hunt, you know, on some public land.
Okay.
And we went elk hunting.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome experience.
I bet it was out in Colorado.
You know, it's worth it just going out there to see the scenery.
How many more elk out there than here?
Oh, it's ungodly.
2 to 1, 3 to 1.
I'd say, you know, it's probably 5 or 6 to 1.
Okay. All right.
There's you know, it's a big herd.
I was wondering about that. My dad used to go out. He would go. He didn't elk hunt, but he loved the deer hunt. But he would go bird hunting like out in Nebraska and stuff like that.
Right.
Pheasants, things like that. Yeah. So, but do you do any of that on your show with the bird hunting, the dogs, and all that stuff?
That's one thing that we're starting to get into, and we're going to try to take some trips and get after some pheasant, maybe some quail. And
all right. So Joe, now Joe Duff's with you here, and that's your dad.
Yeah.
You know. Joe, and you're familiar with this area here and stuff, and they say Joe's kind of the Uncle Si of the bunch.
That's me.
So you impart wisdom where wisdom is needed, right?
I try to keep a handle on him and say, no, we need to think about this a little bit before we jump off.
He starts telling me his Vietnam story.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, especially when it comes to checkbook and stuff like that, I guess you got to kind of rein in
I'm a
everything.
bookkeeper and all that stuff. I end up doing a lot of that for him.
All right, somebody's got to do that kind of stuff. So now, Joe, you've worked in the around Laurel County area here, so a lot of folks are
I
familiar with
worked
you.
for Department of Surface Mining the last 6 years I was with the state, and that's what we did. The coal mining companies, when they reclaimed the land, a lot of them went into the wildlife habitat.
Yeah, they did. It's amazing the elk habitat that these reclaimed.
I was present when they turned the first elk loose in Knott County.
That was exciting time.
It was, and it's just grown by leaps and bounds. When I was growing up, there wasn't any deer or turkey. I mean, just
Oh, yeah.
Then you'd see one in Eastern Kentucky, and now they're everywhere.
That's right. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, you know, my dad would always go out of, out of the county especially, but he would go out in western Kentucky to
Right.
deer hunt. You know, because there really wasn't that much deer hunting now.
You know,
Here.
they was
Now
telling me-
people come here.
Exactly. They was telling me a story. My grandfather was that they used to travel out in western Kentucky, and they'd all find like the deer print there.
Yeah.
And they would be like 6 guys like lined up around, in this holler or hill or whatever
Uh-huh.
they was hunting, and they'd sit there and wait till daylight. And if somebody heard a gunshot, they'd blow the horn to let everybody else know that they killed the deer, and then everybody'd have to go home.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, what an amazing story that is. So now listen, I've got an idea, okay?
All right.
You got John Fricky here, okay? So I think what we need to do is center a show around maybe a hunt. It doesn't matter what you're hunting, but let it get dark and then build you a bonfire. Have John bring his guitar.
And start picking us a little bit.
Yeah, do that, like campfire song.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
'cause John's a musician. You up for that, John?
Yeah,
John?
hey.
John just sitting over there grinning.
Let's rock it out.
You turn the mic on, John goes silent, but boy, you turn it off.
I'll tell you what, I thought we was going to have to get earplugs in here when we stop there.
Hey,
John,
I'm fired up.
John's all right. John is all jacked up, man.
That
Yeah,
is
so yeah, and John being a musician, man, there's your idea for a show right
Exactly.
there. So.
We all sitting around the campfire, you pick a little
Absolutely.
tune.
Well, they've seen Kumbaya.
Hey, I do it.
There we go. Now let's talk about coon hunting a little bit, all right? Because there's a lot of coon hunters around here.
That they
You know, that's a big sport, and a lot of guys I think a lot of guys do that to get out of the house, But maybe hunting in general and fishing, but coon hunting, that's exciting too, and a lot of good coon dogs around here. You guys do any of that?
Whenever I was back in high school, that's I used to just
Yeah.
thrive on it. That's
Yeah.
all I do. I'd go to
Lay out at night.
I'd go to class, during the day, and then that evening, that night, I'd get the dogs ready,
Yeah.
and we'd hit the hills, and we'd stay out, 2 or 3 o'clock, and we'd have to go to school the next day. But of course, we did it.
Right.
But I was real big into it there for a long time. But things have progressed, and I
Right.
got into sports and stuff, and haven't got the chance to do it as much anymore.
Right. So now we're going to come back and talk with Todd one last time and ask him about some things that maybe nuisances out there on farmers' land and stuff, things like coyotes, and we'll talk a little bit about things like that, And then we also want to go one last time here with Todd and find out how you out there can get a hold of some Jak'd Up Outdoors stuff for your very own. They got T-shirts and stuff like that. And then go to their website, find out when the shows are on, where they are, and we'll go back over all that stuff with you. You're on Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got a
so
Twitter
we get
account.
some followers that way.
Facebook.
So, all right, so we'll do that when we come back with Todd Duff and Joe and John Fricky in the Bandit Studios here, all jacked up.